Keenan.
What?
God.
I'm not Philly. I'm not going to beatbox every fucking episode.
But you have to.
What?
Hello.
You know what? In this climate, my black ass is saying no to the man. Fuck you, Joe.
Hey. You said you weren't. You did it.
I know.
You son of a bitch. I'm in. Oh, my goodness. Look at us. We're starting off just right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Do I really have to beatbox? Can somebody help me beatbox with me? Am I going to do it all by myself?
I can try.
Because I know you sing, Melissa. So
See how she just got all quiet and nervous.
You take the lead, and I'll like. I gotta go off of your energy. And
my energy is going to be shit. Well, all right, here we go. Now I'm on the spot. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm kicking it off for you.
Welcome one. Welcome.
Get the fuck out of here. Welcome one.
That's just
welcome one. Welcome all to episode 82 of the None of Our Business podcast. We are your hosts, Cianan Duncan, CNN Dunkaroos, C-Section, C-Notice, C-3PO, see your way out of here, C4, and a bunch of other C-Section stuff. I don't know. Today we have two very special guests.
Ooh, we got dynamic duo. The dynamic duo.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Yes.
Fucking name.
Yes. Oh no, that's your real nickname, dynamic duo.
No, I don't know. If it is. But we got two very special guests today. We have returning guest.
Yes.
Oh.
Mel Castel. Castel Mel by Designs Castel at Castel Stupid Ass.
by Mel Castel.
Stupid Ass by Mel Castel.
Oh my god. They're related, everybody. So
we got Melissa.
Yay.
Melly, Smelly Melly.
Oh my god.
Castellanos.
Only people I love call me Smelly Melly. Thanks.
So she loves me, you know?
Yeah, okay.
And the moment you've all been waiting for. For those of you who knew, and for those of you who didn't, we have Brandy. Extravaganza.
Hey, thank you for that.
Castellanos.
The crowd goes wild.
Brandy. Formerly known as London Fierce.
There we go.
Wow, thank you for that introduction. I love it. Got better by the minute.
And
By the second.
I'm Joe.
It's just Joe.
Brandy,
Welcome to the show.
right before we started, you were going to go into the tale of London Fierce.
Yes.
So what? Okay, because for a lot of people who listen to this pod, and for those who don't, because we have a lot of people who are friends, friends of the show, friends of myself and Keenan, who've known us for a long time, Melissa. But you used to go by London Fierce.
Yes.
This is like an old.
This is an old moniker that she had.
Wow, back.
So, what happened? Where was the transition there from London Fierce to Brandy Extravaganza?
Yes. Well, thank you for the introduction. First and foremost, I appreciate it.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. This is actually my first podcast, so I'm honored to be here, and I'm happy that it's with my family,
Absolutely.
friends, and you are a family friend,
And you, Keenan.
family.
Thank you,
and all
thank
you're
you.
right.
Yeah.
So love you. But
right.
yeah, okay. So obviously, I've had quite the journey, and London Fierce, who was what I represented myself as prior to transitioning. For those of you that don't know, I'm transgender.
Hey, all right. Get right to it.
Yes, I know, right? So obviously, I used to do drag, and that's kind of what helped me find myself. It's a long story, but when I started doing drag, I called myself London Fierce, and the reason why, obviously that was when Sasha Fierce was coming out, 2008. Beyonce, Sasha Fierce.
Oh, so that's something you saw. So I like that name. I want to have
Fierce,
oh, okay,
and
okay.
at the time we were always saying fierce this, fierce that, and I felt really fierce. So I wanted to choose something that would represent me. And growing up, I was so enamored with like British culture, Spice Girls, and the accent and just all that goes with that. So I was like, oh, like I've always, even since we were kids, my sister and I would like try to play the little posh card and with the accent, and I loved like all I just loved the history and just the whole culture of British London. So I was like, ooh, London, that sounds really fierce. And I was like, oh my god, London Fierce. So I named myself London Fierce, but obviously when I started transitioning, I couldn't say, oh yeah, my name's London, my name's London Fierce. So, and I didn't realize that. So there came a time where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to call myself something. So and at that point, I kind of wanted to distance myself from drag because I was like,
you weren't there anymore.
I wasn't there anymore, and I was transitioning, and I kind of didn't want to be known as a drag queen, and I wanted to kind of more so, see myself as the woman that I am. So I decided to, go with Brandy, and I didn't know what to call myself. I wanted it to be original and something that was a part of me. And so for those of you that don't know, my name was Randy. Pre-transition, my birth name was Randy. And so I said, you know what, I don't want to confuse anyone, and my uncles call me Brandy anyways, so it was just easy. Yeah, they'd be like Brandy, because Randy is not like right. Yeah, exactly. Brandy, and it's like Randy is not even like a Latin name or a Mexican name, so it was hard for them to pronounce. So they'd call me Brandy. So I
could have been Rodolfo.
I know, right? So I was like, I know
that's a kind of a
yeah. They were actually
Rodolfo,
that was like one of my nicknames as well. So I was just like, just stick a B on it and call it a day. So I went Brandy, and it suit me, And
it does.
It seems like it works. Yeah. I mean, no confusion here. Brandy works like a great name for that,
right?
I think so too.
But I also like London Fierce. That sounds pretty. That sounds pretty dope.
Well, and obviously, like Beyonce is an icon, and was one of my idols growing up. So her being like so fierce and calling herself such a fierce, I realized that I too can have an alter ego. So I think London Fierce is my alter ego. And she's gonna come out of the closet. Well, I'm gonna take her out. All right.
London Fierce is gonna transition.
I know, right?
We're gonna take a time machine real quick.
I'll bring her out someday. But she is not forgotten. She is the reason why I am who I am.
Well, you and Beyonce can do like a little coming out show. Yeah.
Beyonce, if you're listening.
Yeah, let's get her out on the call real quick. Beyonce, are you there? Okay.
So obviously, so that's where I am. With London.
I mean, London was a staple. Like who you were. Like
yeah, that is who I am, and I think that that's still a part of me. And I feel like, again, for those of you that don't know, I live in the UK, and I moved to London to begin with, and I've been living there for about 3 years. So, I feel like I kind of like put it out into the universe.
Yeah,
I manifested it, and I kind of was like, London Fears, and I had never in my wildest dream would have thought that I would have visited London, let alone live there. So, for me, it's like, I feel like, it's my calling, and which is why I've never forgotten about London Fierce. And London, if you're listening, girl, I haven't forgotten about you.
How many times have you met Daniel Radcliffe being in London?
All of 0 times.
Okay,
that's Keenan. That's like somebody asking
you, Hollywood?
Like, how many times have you met Tom Cruise?
Twice.
Oh my god. Well, that's actually what they asked me.
I want to be
Roscoe Chicken and Waffles.
Get the fuck out of here. Tom Cruise would never be at Roscoe Chicken.
I love Tom hilarious Cruise. Though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times people have asked me, "Oh, so you're from LA? Oh, you must see all these celebrities."
Oh, yeah.
And to be fair, yes, we do. It happens all the time. You'll be at the grocery store and you'll just see someone that
I've ran into
on
a
the
few
big screen.
Yeah, but it's not like you're gonna be like, "Hey, what's up?" Like I've met Eddie Murphy, but I don't. He will never remember me and say like. He's never gonna be like, "Oh, Joe from I'm like,
I only bring it up because I watched last night Guns Akimbo. The new movie that he was in. Movie, which is very crazy. It's like it's crazy dark comedy kind of stuff. But I liked seeing him do that. It was almost like I wanted to say, "Man, Daniel Radcliffe, that's my boy," because the way he acted in it, the way he took it was just like.
He took it as a serious role?
I wanted to see more of him do wild and crazy stuff like that. Because he does have that still. He's done a good amount of stuff. He did some like crazy.
He did the Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, Swiss Army Man.
Where he plays dead the whole movie. Yeah, he's literally dead the whole movie.
Yeah.
And
spoiler.
Yeah. Well, it's not a spoiler because that's the synopsis.
Yeah.
Like, he's dead the whole movie, but the guy that finds him uses him for all kind of stuff. Like, because they I guess they're stranded or something.
Like a Weekend at Bernie's or something?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Was it a comedy or
it's supposed to be like
drama?
a dark comedy.
Dark, yeah. Which is good. I think his typecasting is dark comedy for Daniel Radcliffe, at least.
I mean, he does that show on TBS, that Heavenly Workers or whatever it's called.
I haven't
Have
seen
you ever
it.
seen it?
I've seen the poster of it on IMDb. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, something like this. Called something like that.
No.
Heavenly
But yeah, I mean, have you ran
I don't
into-
know how we got to stuff.
Well, sorry, I can't
Daniel
contribute because I'm
Radcliffe.
still trying to guess who he is.
Harry Potter.
Daniel,
Harry
yeah.
Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
duh.
That's where
Shame
the
on
joke
me.
came from because I saw
Bless
the
him.
movie.
He's actually an ally. He was defending us.
Oh,
with,
yeah, from
J.K.
Yeah.
Rowling.
Yeah,
and,
J.K.
her
Rowling.
transphobia comments that she made. So shame on me.
How do you feel about the transphobia comments that she made? And
Well, you know, I don't agree with them, obviously, and I feel like she's had a history with transphobia, and I just think we're to the point where we all know where she stands, and I feel like she's getting a lot of unneeded attention. So, you know,
but that's what happens a lot. Like these people want to. I can't say for
Stay
J.K.
relevant?
Rowling, but I don't think she's trying to stay relevant. And
Yeah.
she might not be the case, but for a lot of people who are actively and openly against specific things, it's because they want to be in that spotlight and they want people to know that, oh, this is my stance. And I
like
want
they're
everybody to know.
untouchable, and
I don't think J.K. Rowling is the same thing, but I think she's a little entitled for, you know, being as outwardly about it.
Because she has all those billions or something?
Yeah.
Like because of
Well,
popularity?
I think. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know because she's fucking rich as fuck because of the people.
and
at
she
the
was
same-
poor at one point. Or not poor, but like low income, kind of struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the lifestyle she probably had before the Harry Potters probably was a lifestyle where it was like kind of like in the hood where it could be very homophobic or transgender phobic or something like that. And then you still have that mentality or state as you get into that power and wealthiness.
And there are a lot of people that share her views, so I know that she
There
doesn't just
are.
speak for herself; she speaks for others as well. And I think that it's important for us as allies and as transgender people that we make sure that she doesn't get away with it. You know?
Okay.
So I get where the attention's coming from, but sometimes I feel like the whole the fact that they're trending for something so negative is.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and that's where kind of like I feel like sometimes social media becomes dangerous because you give someone a platform to,
Basically say what the
say
fuck
whatever
they
the fuck
Pretty
they
much.
want.
Is there a big community in the transgender in London, or is it like very small?
There is
Okay.
no. I mean, I think now more than ever, people are more open about who and willing to follow, who they are as trans people, and there are more young trans women transitioning, and I feel like ever since the transgender tipping point in like 2015 with Laverne Cox being on Times Magazine, and us having some major shows on major networks has
Legendary
Like Pose?
on HBO Max.
Right, Pose, yes.
Pose, yeah.
And then
Have you guys watched that Legendary show?
Legendary,
No.
yes,
On
on
HBO
HBO
Max?
Max.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about the voguing and
Is it?
actually
Is
my
it a
friend
competition?
won. Yeah,
Oh, it's a competition.
Yeah,
I
it's a
haven't seen it.
competition,
But
and he won the $100,000. House of Balmain. Shout out to House of Balmain.
it's called
Shout out.
Pose.
Yes.
no, there's a show on
That's-
FX called Pose.
Okay.
And it's a drama, right?
Yes.
And then there's a show on HBO Max called Legendary, and it's a Vogue competition.
Oh, yeah.
Is it
it's a Vogue
drag or is it
competition.
trans? Or
No, I think it's a
is it
little.
just
it's a
in
little
general,
bit of both.
like-
I think it's just based on like the ball scene. So it's very much
Got it.
Like
Vogue,
LGBTQ.
like what
community
Pose
and,
is like what?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So basically, HBO Max said we want to do that, but we're gonna make it a competition.
Yes.
Fucking trash. I gotta
Basically.
call that shit out, man. I
Yeah.
fucking
Well-
Because they're
honestly,
getting it for advertisement
it's
or
exploiting.
Like, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I think a lot of people are
commercialize the
doing that. They're
lifestyle.
commercializing everything, exploiting the community.
They're,
and
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it helps. It
It
helps.
helps.
the transgender community,
you
but
get to see it.
at the same time, it's kind of exploiting them too.
Exactly.
It like where was your support 10 years ago? Where was you know?
Right, exactly.
Like,
and the thing is, totally. And the thing is, they're supporting certain individuals and bringing us into the mainstream spotlight. But I just want the people that founded these kind of things to also get credit, and some monetary compensation would be nice as well. I hope these organizations, these productions are contributing or donating to some of these LGBT communities that
that
need
they're
it.
exploiting.
Yeah, really. Exactly.
I mean, they're
and I hope that they're getting paid their worth and not just your typical whatever they get paid.
I don't know. Hollywood's pretty fucked up.
It is. Trust me.
You ain't lying.
You ain't about that.
Melissa brought a good point though. Like,
you're part of the show, Melissa.
I'm saying no. She before the show started, like she mentioned that I had that like before when we were kids. I had you sign a contract.
Oh yes, I wanted to talk about this. Yeah. Okay, so wait.
Yeah, like I don't remember it, but I'm like that's pretty fucked up.
Childhood was pretty brutal.
Well, has really people changed? I mean, come on, Jay.
Honestly, though, but here's the thing. I'm gonna blame Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh yeah.
Oh baby, we gonna touch that subject too.
Because I mean, obviously, religion.
Played a big role in that.
We grew up in this religion that absolutely ostracizes people
like
who are not heterosexual.
But not only that, but the Hispanic and Latino culture of machismo.
That too.
Yeah. So he made you do something that was like too alpha male-ishy and like stereotyping.
So like we would play Barbies.
Joe played Barbie with
Brandy.
you.
Brandy and I would play Barbies. Do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah, tell the story.
Okay. So I'm the youngest.
I'm trying to forget a lot of those thoughts.
Yeah. So I'm the youngest of 5 kids, right? So and we're pretty much like 3-4 years apart. If not, Brandy was my closest sibling. We're like a year and a month apart. So being her that she was the closest to me in age, and we couldn't do what all the older ones could do, like we would be together a lot. And Brandy's like my best friend. I love her so much. Every time she talks, I want to cry because she's so amazing.
But
back in the day. Even back in the day, Brandy and I were close. Like
we've always been close. We grew up in the same age group. So.
Yeah, pretty much we've always been close. So I didn't have any siblings to play but with Brandy. And we would play dolls, and we would have to lock ourselves in the bathroom to play dolls because my older siblings, like Joe, would like bully her and like, no, you can't play dolls. And my dad would get mad too. So finally Danny and Joe made a contract, like, if you play dolls, we're gonna beat you up. And she had to sign it. And like it was just like really, and it's sad because kids suffer that to this day.
Because at an early age, that was kind of a symbol.
Yeah,
of who
it was
you were
like what, 6-7 years old. We were little. We were in elementary school.
And you know what? I just think that, that's just something that we do as children. And I've had to, make peace with myself. And I love my brothers to death. And there's no way that I can judge them for the past. We were kids. They were kids. I was a kid.
Yeah.
We didn't know any better. And a lot of these things are taught by our parents, by what we see, by society.
Yeah.
So, I'm smart enough to be able to differentiate and know the difference. So for me, I found closure in a lot of those, dark moments in my life. Although sometimes I'm a little disappointed that I didn't have a much funner, friendlier, childhood. Not to say I didn't have, I wasn't happy, because I was an extremely happy child, and I have to also. Remember the good times. It wasn't easy growing up by any means. Being bullied, by pretty much everyone, and not really having anyone reaching out to help me. I was just too feminine, and I just didn't know. In the Hispanic family, like my sister said, machismo is very much exists, and machismo is pretty much like what would we translate to that?
Very toxic
very
and
toxic
dangerous.
Masculinity.
Okay, but to an extreme, right?
To an extreme,
or is it
it's like men are supposed to do this.
Pink is for girls, blue is for boys.
Because is there a difference between Latin culture of the machismo man compared to an American culture of the machismo man?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's much more extreme.
Yeah.
I think
it's dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's very violent and unsafe.
It's crazy because I can't even fathom a scenario now
where you do something
I would do something
even
for my own son. Like I'm very fluid and very open to any ideas that Gavin may have, and I'm absolutely 100% open if he were to make any decisions that that what his lifestyle is going to be like.
Right.
100% for Melissa. For Saya as well. Like it's just crazy to me to even think that I did that. Like,
right.
It's crazy.
Which is why I don't judge any of my family because of what they did when they were younger, because this was all things that we learned from our parents.
Yeah.
But now that they're older,
story. Yeah, if they were doing that now, honey, we would have a problem.
For sure.
But I know that about Joe, which is why I would never hold any grudges and like I said, it was really difficult growing up, especially having a father that was very extreme. Yeah, absolutely. I remember he was Jehovah's Witness, and he was also very machista, and he still is.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Our parents. But my mom, God bless her, she's always been so protective and
she
loving. Like she never, was always supportive.
Always.
Yeah,
she was so supportive.
She let me visit your house once, so that was cool.
Well, actually, she
checked all her jewelry when you left.
It's because colorism. You weren't as dark as the others, so
I actually sunburned today, so
I see. Why are your cheeks so red?
Like, no, not my. It's on my back.
Like a rash
I got sunburn on my back. Oh well,
his rosacea.
I'm nervous, because I got beautiful people all next to me, and
where?
I
know I'm here, but honey,
I'm kidding.
Ooh,
damn.
Melissa just glorified you, and you're over here just talking.
Well, she likes that about me. I'm real, right? I'm raw.
Hey, damn.
It's like, sisters,
right? No, but I will say this. I was very misunderstood as a child, but I know once I came around and I found out who I was, and I decided to change my life permanently for the better. My family came around. We had that discussion, when I started transitioning, and I came over looking crazy as hell because that was like my first day.
You had to talk with them.
I think
the moment to have that talk.
I think the moment when you actually came out and said, "Hey, I'm gay." I think that was a pivotal moment in the family, just in general.
Okay.
I remember that day. We were staying in East LA. We all met in that room, and then we had that. Paul was all serious about it, like we have to have a serious conversation, and we're like, okay, what is it? And then you came out, and we're like, all right,
we knew that.
Serious conversation?
We knew that.
Yeah, we were like, where is it? But Paul being the little
he's always been a serious.
Is that why you're against Paul?
No, I'm not. No, I've always been against Paul. But anyway,
you were saying some.
No.
Oh.
Well, actually, but to
Let
be
Brandy
fair,
tell her story.
after the whole, I came out as what I thought I was gay. The homophobia still continued. I mean, they already knew. But the homophobia still continued. Not as the beating no longer.
The beating,
not with the immediate family
but
here,
but yes, right. Sorry,
cousins and stuff like that.
Yes, it still continued, but it wasn't until I came out as trans that they really all came around. I remember that moment vividly, and I remember, having a family meeting. Everyone went to mom's house, and we kind of sat down, and that's when I walked in looking crazy as hell. I didn't even know who I was. I thought that as a woman I had to be a certain way. So the beginning of my transition, I was wearing heels, like full makeup, big extensions, lashes, just like looking crazy, But I felt comfortable because I'd been so long, not being able to identify as myself and express myself. That that to me felt comfortable. And I remember once I decided, I said I'll never again wear any male clothes. I got rid of everything. I said I never want to be Randy again. And I made that decision because of how I was treated as a child and the homophobia and the transphobia that I faced. That I was just going to move on and do this without my family. And I kind of decided to that. I had to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I kind of, it hurt me because I didn't think my family would ever accept me. So I kind of walked away from them in a sense. I know none of them pretty much knew other than my sister. But, I told her, what, I'm transitioning. I was so upset at that time because of everything that I had faced as a child and as a teenager that I was just angry. And I don't want to say I hated my family, but I was really angry. I was really angry inside, especially when I started to transition because I said, there's no way my family is going to support me. I'm in this alone. I have to do this alone. And that was a real realization that I had, that I felt alone at that moment. But I also felt great because I said, you know what, this is a new chapter for me. This is a new opportunity. This is who I am. I've never felt better about myself, and I have to do this for myself because.
Okay.
Pre-transitioning, I was a mess. I was making bad decisions. I was always getting in trouble. I didn't care about myself. I never thought about myself in the future. I was living for the moment. I was being destructive. I was not in a good place, and it was because I never felt happy and I never felt accepted. So for me, it was a struggle. It was always just fighting. So once I started transitioning, that's when I said, you know, I'm so happy. I'm in a much better place. You know, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. So sadly, I never felt the support of my family. So I had to just do it on my own. And I remember like about 3 to 6 months in transition, Melissa was like, hey, like, you know, she knew what was going on. And she was like, you know what, I think that you need to talk to mom, you know, she's like asking about you, like you haven't came home. Because I was like, there's no way in hell they're going to accept me if I walk in as my new identity. There's no way in hell. Like, I'm going to be judged. It just took me back to, you know, my upbringing. And I just didn't think that was going to be possible. So I was like, you know what, I have to do this on my own, you know, Melissa was like, no, we have to have this. Awesome. And then I think she actually told my mom against my wishes.
Oh, really?
But I was okay with that because I knew that she was coming from, she's like, she said, good. You know, mom needs to know, you need your family there to support you. Like, she understood. She always has. She's always been like one of my biggest supporters, and she continues to be one of my biggest supporters, and I love her for that. Like she said, we're best friends.
The connection's really deep. From the Barbie days.
From the Barbie days. Exactly.
Barbie girls, yeah.
She's weak.
She's very emotional.
That's super cool. That I mean, for you to realize and understand that you need, it might even been even better per se that your mom heard it from Melissa first, as being the youngest, and the way you can handle conversations and talk and be real and let people know. It's probably great that she got the information from her, and then to be the not moderator, mediator, something like that, between the three of you. Yes. And then when you three lock on, like that's the trifecta musketeer thing that the whole family would eventually get behind, because you have the support of, you know, Melissa, who I'm afraid of.
She's an important part of our family.
Yeah, and then with your mom, those two alone would be like, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah. But I always felt like, I don't know, like I said earlier, my mom has surprised me in a lot of ways. And I know that my mom loves Brandy. And sometimes I joke like, oh, Brandy's your favorite. Oh, yeah. And because I like, even before Brandy transitioned when she was little, they always had a good relationship, like cooking and being together, cleaning. So Brandy was like attached to my mom's hip. And I felt like that kind of love from a mother, regardless, was never going to, you know, whatever she did, my mom is always going to love her. And of course, she showed love to my siblings also when like she'd have to bail them out of jail and shit, you know.
She did bail me out.
But like I said, I knew that my mom, like she had to know because she was going to be hurting not to hear from Brandy, you know. So like.
Maybe she always knew.
Well, you know what? She always knew.
She always knew.
Actually, I remember her revealing to me recently that she would always have these discussions with my father. Like, we need to take Brandy to the hospital. We need to have her seen by a psychiatrist, by a doctor. She always tried to get help for me and my brother as well, and my dad was just so against it, and that goes against with like the toxic masculinity, thinking that you can do
mental health not being real,
mental health not being a real issue, which it is.
Even as a father, the machismo macho male thing is like still an extreme. It just overpowers everything. Wow. Okay.
Because there are dads who will disown their kids for being gay or whatever else other than a
because
man.
In their mind it's wrong and it's unacceptable. Period. End of story.
I'm like Joe. I trip out when I hear and see those stories of real truth. And I'm like, I just can't. I can't comprehend in my mind me telling my child you're not part of the family anymore. Just because of who you want to have sex with.
And believe me, there is much worse things that have gone on than I've gone through. That I've gone through.
Yeah.
You know, there is much worse cases that breaks my heart when I hear some of these things, which is why I feel like it's important that we tackle this issue in a pandemic in its own, the transphobia. You know,
because it's not new. I mean, like there's recorded history, you know, during the Roman period of them cross-dressing and
absolutely
gender fluid or not believing in male or female.
Exactly. Even one of the emperors was one. I mean, sadly, because it was Rome in those time periods, they did, kill the person, but at least, there was still an emperor who, I believe, and I might get that humongously wrong, but I was like born with both genitalia. I can't remember.
Well,
sure.
That's still
that's still something that occurs.
Yeah.
And
that's not going to change.
At the hospital, they decide, it's going to be this, and so they,
Yeah, but it's just showing that throughout history, that's not intersex.
It's true.
It's so funny you guys talk about that because I was watching the Orville. And there's an episode specifically. The Orville is the show by Seth MacFarlane,
the Family Guy.
Yeah, so he made his own Star Trek, pretty much. And it's supposed to be like a comedy, but I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if I like it. I've watched like 20 episodes and I don't know.
It's a hit or miss.
It is. But anyway, they have an episode on that that's specifically regarding gender and like gender reassignment. So there's a race, there's an alien species that is supposed to be all male, and then when a female is born, they reassign it to become a male. And it's just and there's a whole controversy in the episode about it. So it's like it's funny because the show went there, and this is a topic that actually happens because this happens in our world as well, where if you're born into like a culture, like I know some African cultures, they'll change you without you even getting the right to decide whether or not you want to be changed.
That machismo stuff is pretty just as heavily in Africa too.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's unfair because intersex and I think it's like hermaphrodite or intersex. It's real, and who's to say that's a mistake? Why can't it be there be a third gender?
Right.
Why can't it be just something special? We constantly wanted to put gender on people, and I just feel like it's unfair because it changes the course of our life in a negative way. And a lot of the times, for a long time, there hasn't been resources to help us get through some of the challenges that we faced. And I feel like I'm lucky and I'm fortunate to have gone as far as I've gone, going through what I've gone through, to be honest, because like I said, there are worst case scenarios, but at the same time, I feel like
you have your own story.
I have my own story.
We have a career too, right? Like based off of your character,
based on who I am, I was never accepted. I never had many friends growing up, so for me to now all of a sudden, be a public figure in my own right, and to be doing what I do in the nightlife and entertainment industry. I feel like I wouldn't have ever dreamt this in my wildest dreams. I would have never thought that this was possible.
You said nightlife and entertainment industry, right?
Yes.
Like bars, clubs,
television.
Okay.
A little bit of everything.
How is this whole virus thing hitting your business then?
It's non-existent now.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm talking pre-COVID. Obviously.
I'm with you, sis. I'm in the industry too, so it's like my shit is.
Right. Everything's pretty much virtual now, so I'm doing a lot of things online. I've worked for a few festivals and performances, and everything's like pre-recorded, edited, and published like on like a streaming service.
Okay.
So, obviously we have to, work it out however we can, especially with this being unprecedented and us all being on the same boat. Everything's pretty much turned into like virtual, digital, online. And so I've managed to do a few things here and there, but again, it's pretty much non-existent because, so I'm having to rethink my careers and go back to old habits.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Damn.
No. I know, right? No, that's a whole nother topic, but yes.
You are married. You are married.
Oh, congratulations.
That's the thing. Like,
thank you.
Out of all the adversity you faced and everything that you've gone through and your whole story, you're still married.
Yes.
Like you're still living a normal life.
I'm living somewhat a normal life.
Oh shit!
Okay, I got like 1 year left.
Dual citizenship.
Options, honey, choices. We want choices, especially with the current political climate.
Yeah.
But to be fair, this is like a worldwide issue. The UK is going through its own issues with like Brexit and
what happened to that
Boris
shit?
Johnson.
Is that still going on?
Brexit happened.
Well,
Yeah.
it happened already.
Yeah,
and I think
it happened 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Like a
Keenan, God damn it.
And in my opinion, the main reason is because we want to be closer to the U.S. Well, I say we. I'm not British yet, but the U.S. We want to do more like trading with the U.S. and have a closer relationship with the U.S. With the U.S.
Oh, you should probably have your own like TV show.
I should, right?
Yeah,
help me.
Wait, yeah, do all that information.
Like
that's in the pipeline.
Yeah, I do like watching.
Crossing Borders.
What is his name?
Crossing Borders.
I like it, dude. I'm gonna make a flyer for it for the podcast. Crossing Borders.
Yeah,
that's
there you
Crossing
go.
Borders.
See,
That's
I
the
need
name
you
of
on
the
my
episode.
team.
Yeah.
I need you.
Yeah,
on
there
my
we
Crossing
go.
Borders.
Yeah,
There you go.
We always find the name of our episodes within
Within
the
the
episode.
episode.
So
Jinx.
Well, I'm gonna have
You
you
can't
guys
talk
as
for
my
the rest
first
of the
guest.
show.
Crossing Borders.
I like that a lot. Well, I mean, the only there when people have like a good wealth of knowledge and information and stuff like that, and you're already in the entertainment industry, so to speak, we need more people out there. Again, representing who you are, showing who you are to the
Certainly.
world. So like having your own TV show, or at least I guess nowadays it'd be like a YouTube series or something like that. But
Melissa could be your assistant.
yeah, or
I
manager
would
or
love
whatever,
that.
something like that.
In
But
the US.
it's not that hard to produce and do. Like what we're doing here with this podcast, we don't have backer support. It's just the energy and effort of.
Yeah, and you can really see that in the production.
I set myself up for it. Whatever.
Keenan, God damn it.
This
is a serious podcast, okay?
We're serious people
but
here.
and I've
Yeah.
come to learn that my point of view is valuable, and all those things are in the pipeline. Again, we're in a different time where we can really become our own. Going back to when I transitioned in 2008, it was a different time. There wasn't as a big of a support system for the transgender community as we have now. So when I transitioned, I was taught that the only way you were going to be successful was if you were passable, which passable means looking like a woman, sounding like a woman, and being under the radar in the sense where people wouldn't find out
would never
who you
know.
were.
Okay. Okay.
And there's a long history of transgender women having great careers,
but also being attacked because they don't.
right? But having there's a long history of trans women that have had full-on modeling careers and have had beautiful careers, but they all had to do it closeted
Under the radar.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it was extremely difficult for me to unwind some of these bad habits that I learned from when I started transitioning. The girls that taught me were like, girl, the only way that you're going to be passable or live a normal life is for you to be a full woman.
And they were transgender.
And they were transgender as well. So I was like already going into something with a preconceived thought of notion of like, this is the way I'm supposed to be. And I started kind of distancing myself from the LGBT community, and I started working as a woman. I was doing photo shoots, working as a woman, and a lot of people didn't know, because at that time the transgender community wasn't as visible, and so I was feeling in my element, and I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, I was constantly having to look behind my back and seeing who was gonna find out, who knew, and there was times that they would find out. And I might be like a featured character, and I can't tell you one of the a very uncomfortable experience that I had with that. They chose me to be on screen, and when they were escorting me to where I had to be recording, they were talking to me, and so I don't have the most feminine voice, so when I started talking, they were like, oh. They looked at me. Mind you, this was a different time. Oh, you're a man. Oh, no. They just disposed of me like I was garbage. And you know what? I had to get used to that, because it happened more than once. And it was like I said, it was that taught me that my girlfriends were right. That just proved their point. I got to be passable.
Really cruel, yeah.
And that the industry is extremely cruel, and they really just want you, but how they want you. They didn't really respect me as a person, and I get it, you know. I understood at that time, but fortunately for my community, a lot of things have changed, and now we are being embraced for who we are. But you know, it took a lot of battle and fighting to.
And it may take some more fighting.
Oh,
I do feel like the entertainment industry is
it's still very dangerous.
But at least there's some progression.
And that's just a perspective from me working, but there's also the dating aspect of being a transgender woman at that time. Again, now I'm so happy that right now that I'm married, but you know, now we're headed a different direction. That you know, we're now having our moment, and we're being appreciated and acknowledged. You know, that's all we wanted. You know, you can't erase us. We are real people. We do exist. You know, I don't like that we're constantly sexualized and seen and put and measured by the way that we look, how feminine we are. That's really upsetting, and it took me a while for me to understand that, because I thought that being beautiful was the only thing that was important to being a woman.
Okay.
And I've come to realize that, you know, beauty, like they've always said, I've now understand beauty is only skin deep, because, you know, I know that you need to contribute, and we can all, excuse me, let me take that. I know that we come from all walks of life. Just the transgender community is a colorful community on its own, and we come from all different walks of life, and you know, there's good and there's bad, you know, and just like any other race or gender or anything. And so I lost my train of thought.
We all know.
We used to have Philly on the show. So
we all
okay.
Yeah, Philly would go off on tangents, but we all know that the All Lives Matter movement is bullshit. But it's amazing to think of all the parallels that, you know, the trans community and the black community and the LGBTQ plus minus etc. But like the parallels in those, yet somehow we all
separate ourselves.
We all still
because the black community is separate
and the black community also, but there's a bunch of machismo in it too.
Yeah,
you know.
There's a lot of transphobia within the black community as well.
Yeah. So,
but in all communities, but
but the same thing goes for like the LGBTQ community. Like there's also racism in that as well. Yeah, like even amongst itself. Like,
and gays not accepting transgendered also.
Right,
as well.
Absolutely.
So it's crazy.
Wow.
Like it's.
Humans, right?
When people, for real. Like that's fucking mind-boggling to me. Like that we're all fucking human beings and we should all be loving each other. But we all find little things to fucking hate about each other.
That's why we need an alien race to come in so I can have sex with them.
Hey, I'm with you.
Which is why for me, this movement, Black Lives Matter, is so important, because this is a movement for all of us, for everyone that's marginalized, trans community. You know, the Native Americans as well. I mean,
I know, talk about somebody neglected.
Seriously, there's so much injustice. And you know, we're all now opening up our eyes, and I think that we're all doing this together, and many of us are outraged, some of us are comfortable with the way that things are going, but I for one am not, and I will not allow it, not under my dime. I've learned if one beneficial thing that has come out from this is me realizing who are my true friends and who are the people I consider my family. You know, I've had to cut ties with a lot of people that, you know, just shared
tell me.
It's that shared a thought process that I just don't agree with, you know?
Wow, that's so crazy you brought that up, because just recently, and I know I talk about my roommates a lot, but this is on a good positive note. My roommate, Brittany, received, she not deleted, but unfollowed someone on Instagram because he kept posting, and he's a gay Mexican too, and he kept posting about how much he loves Trump, and he has him with the American flag and everything about Republicans, stuff like that. And she didn't like it. And so she unfollowed him. And they've been friends for like 8 years or something like that. And then he took it like super personally, like they're not friends anymore. And they had this huge back and forth texting conversation just based off of an Instagram post. It's crazy what the people that
social
are
media is taken too seriously. But I get it. I get why now. I mean, I think our society is structured on social media now. In the last 10 years, it's become like social media isn't just social media anymore. Social media is also life. Like it pays
people's bills.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does. But but it's an extension of what your life is.
Yeah, and it's showing humans on a different platform.
And there's still the argument, oh well, what's on social media isn't real. What like that's not a person's real life. But yeah,
somebody wrote it.
Like not only that, no, but people really like put their whole lives out on social media.
Yay, like, Joe! Welcome to Cianan. I tell you that 8 episodes in a row.
Eat my dick.
Yeah, I had to delete my Facebook for that very reason, just because it was just not fun anymore, and it was just becoming too much for me to deal with.
And then you said, "Look at Cianan." What's this "Look at Cianan" thing? You're about to say something about me. You're about to look at Cianan.
No, yeah, I mean, just look at you.
No, I know I'm damn sexy, Melissa.
No, but I didn't say look at Cianan.
Yeah, you're gonna use me as an example.
I wasn't gonna use you as an example.
All right, audience, rewind it back.
No, but call Joe out. I was gonna say look at, and then you said something, so I said Cianan. Okay. But they weren't gonna. I was gonna say look at me. My whole life is on social media. Like I don't hide things about my life on my Instagram. Like I post everything. Like. Well, I don't post a lot, but I don't hide my shit. I don't hide like my social media. Like my Instagram is my actual name. Like I don't have like a nickname on social media. I use my name for everything.
And he got stalked, which is crazy.
Oh yeah,
somebody came after Joe finding his name.
We talked about this some episodes ago, but so we play Call of Duty. Cianan and I, which we haven't really played a lot of like in the last week or two.
Something's happening.
I don't know, but anyway, we play Call of Duty, and I was playing a match. I play with random people. Like sometimes I'll just play by myself and with random people. And the team I was with, we were kicking ass. We were like doing really, really good against the other team. And my name is my screen name, like even in video games. So this dude, like I guess looked me up. And he started talking shit about me and like, oh, your fucking IG is whack. It has no fucking
followers.
No, following. He said it has no. He said it has
something
no
related to content. It was something related to content. Like he doesn't post
God.
enough or something.
No. It was It has no. It's a cool word that kids are using.
Any millennials in this room? No?
Sauce or some. It was some shit like that.
No
it had no sauce or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I'm looking at your IG right now. Your shit is trash.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
he like searched Joe out.
Yeah,
like,
he searched me. But then it's funny because towards the end of the match, he's like, hey, you have a podcast? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh. He's like, oh, it looks kind of cool. All right, I might check that out. And I'm just like, dude.
It's fucking weird.
Do it. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, social media is just an extension of who you are now. Like, I don't fucking hide. I'm pretty open about my life on social media. So people who say that, oh, you can't take it seriously, it's not a person's real life. Yeah, there are people who fake the funk or front for the gram, as they say. But there are others who fucking really exhibit their life or whatever it is. Like, who don't, and you too, Keen. Yours.
This is coming around.
Your thing is Cianan Duncan. Like you don't hide.
Oh yeah, I remember name.
Like you use your real name. It's like we just use it.
And we use it to call out the Karens too, so that's cool.
That's true. Yeah, so it can help out.
Racist fucks,
Karens and Kyle's, right? Is it Kyle's?
Kevin's.
Sorry, Kyle. I know you listen to the show. My bad.
No, but it's funny because I have a friend in my little group that his name is Kevin. He was just he was like, oh man. He's like, I don't know what to do. I just found out I'm a Kevin. And I'm like, what?
But that's
like, yeah, they call us Kevin.
That's what humans. That's our history. There's clearly evidence of us ousting some category, group, or whatever who's not associated with that, aka Black or Latino or something like that, and then people attack them or they feel like they have to hide or something like that because the assumption of who you are negatively is now to
out
everybody.
There. Yeah, out there.
Yeah.
That's why you just have to live an honest life and you won't have any troubles.
That's what I do.
As honest as can be.
Yes.
You know?
Honest can get you in trouble too. Like if you're a Trump supporter openly or racist openly, like you're gonna get what's coming to you.
Yeah.
You have to be kind.
So what do you do about that? If somebody is open about their love for Trump,
tear them down.
I talk shit to them until they block me.
Oh, okay,
and
the thing. Oh shit, my bad.
I'm just saying, like, should it be respected and not like no physical interaction should happen, but verbally it's okay for them to say how much they love Trump or what? I know Joe and I had this conversation.
But some people use that as like deliberately to be racist and cruel, like. and it's not a matter of, oh, well, that's my opinion, you need to respect. No, this is not a matter of like, oh, green's the best color, and this is a matter of human rights and treating people, decency. So what people usually use, even now, using the American flag, people use it as a way, like as they would a Confederate flag, like, oh, this is America, I'm not gonna wear a mask, and like just shit. It's not a matter. When it's a matter of human rights, like it's not an opinion anymore. That is something that like straight out. I have been blocked by family, and I have been, and I feel like when you don't take a stance, like if you follow someone on social media and they're posting things, the first thing, try to understand, okay, like, why is this? Well, these are facts, and you list facts, and these people, still, they don't argue back with facts, they just talk shit, and they're just ignorant. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, so you're just going to be ignorant, I'm going to keep talking shit, and it's like we can't be comfortable anymore where, oh, we're just gonna let them talk, that's their opinion, oh, I'm just gonna block them. Like, no, you can't, because like as they say, you have to be anti-racist, you have to be anti everything, you can't be neutral, because the neutrality is just a form of support. Like
so don't block them, actually go on an offensive.
Complacent. Just like Martin Luther King has said, there's white allies, they're not even allies, they're just not doing anything, they're not attacking black people, but when you're not doing anything about it, then like what is your stance?
You're not doing anything.
Who is that? No,
who is Martin Luther King?
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Everybody who's listening.
I'm sure that when Trump was initially running, I'm sure there were genuine supporters that really liked some of the shit he was saying.
Who didn't know his history.
I can't say that people didn't know his history, because that motherfucker's been out in the open before he went social media.
Home Alone? He didn't help Macaulay Culkin get back home.
I'm sure there were plenty of people who genuinely liked that he was saying, oh, I'm going to build the economy again. Oh, I'm going to bring jobs back to America and all this shit. But in the last 4 years, if you're still a Trump supporter, based on all the shit that has happened in the last 4 years, then that's the fucking problem. Like, because it's not just about boosting the economy again and bringing back jobs back to America, because that has not happened. Like, he has not worked towards doing those things. He's added tariffs to exports and imports and shit like that. And it's like, okay, we get that. I get that. I'm not mad at adding tariffs to imports and adding an extra tax on that. I'm cool with that. But at the same time, you're also doing things that are harming the economy, that are harming people in general, especially people of color, and
future generations.
Yeah, okay. Like he's doing more damage. And good thing you brought that up, Brandy. You spoke about future generations. He's removing all these environmental acts that will allow these corporations to go into our forests, to go into our water supply, and pollute the shit of it.
It's been passed?
Yeah, okay. He's redacting some of, like, what was this?
Because I know
there's an EPA. I can't remember what it's called, but he just redacted that, which has been a staple of the U.S. To prevent from damaging our waters and all that stuff.
Our natural forests and stuff, right?
No, our water supplies. I can't remember.
I'm thinking of something different. So because I know there was a moment early in his presidency.
No, this just happened last week.
He was trying to get rid of like the national forests and stuff like that. So now
this protections.
This is something new. This is on our drinking water.
Just did it. Yes. Or our water supply, not just drinking,
like
where
it's coming from.
The oceans as well, right?
Like rivers, you wouldn't protect. Like so he
dumping in the oceans.
He just did something where corporations no longer have to do surveys.
Okay.
They don't have to do surveys, environmental surveys.
So they just blow
something up. They could just do some shit,
and
then it is what it is. As long as they have they
got the permit to work.
A lot
of these companies are contributing to.
They're loving it. Go ahead.
Sorry, no. They're contributing negatively to our environment, like Starbucks.
Yeah, they're looking for the
buck. Okay. Places like companies like that need to be investing in. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just curious that are they like, if I own a oil rig company or something like that, I can now instead of getting a permit, I can just dig wherever I want? Is that the
No,
thing?
no, no. Obviously, you still need to get some type of permit, but you don't have to do an environmental survey to get that permit anymore.
In case like there's some Indian burial ground that I'm going to go.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oil spills, or if you're going to damage any waterways, or if you're going to do it like, it's fucking crazy. And so what I'm saying is, if you're still a Trump supporter, you're definitely not looking out for.
Unless it affects them. That's what we agreed upon. Unless it affects them who are supporting him, they're not going to give two shits.
No, they don't care. And it's a lot of corporations and, like investment bankers and
lobbyists and
lobbyists who are actually who want the dollar. The people who are supporting Trump are the ones who want the dollar.
So
they don't give a fuck about the people.
How worse do you all think it can get? Like, are we talking
worse.
like he comes back for another 4 years?
That's very dangerous.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah,
I think. Well, what'll happen is if he does get reelected, he no longer has to worry about. He doesn't have to worry about a reelection, so he can really do whatever the fuck he wants.
So how do you get?
So if you think he's doing whatever the fuck he wants right now,
imagine what he's gonna do when he gets.
Imagine what happens if he gets reelected.
Okay.
Like now, he won't have to worry about a reelection because after his 4 years, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. So if he gets reelected, he'll do whatever the fuck he wants with no repercussions because he doesn't have to come back.
So what would I mean? What
unless he changes that and fucking becomes some type of fucking tyrant
for like another 8
or
years?
Extends it. I mean, well,
if you had a war towards the end, you could technically extend your presidency because that did happen.
No, after FDR, they blocked that, so you can't do that anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't do it because FDR did that. He did for 3 terms.
Okay.
And then after that, he was like, "No, we can't do this anymore."
I thought there was a loophole with the war or something like that.
No, that was struck back in
the 60s or 50s, something like that.
40, right after World War II.
Oh, okay.
Because FDR was like, "No, we should."
He's like, "Fuck no, huh?"
No, because he did a 3rd term.
Yeah.
But then after that, he was like, "We shouldn't do this anymore."
Okay.
It was just one of those.
It was the fluke, which who knows another.
It wasn't a fluke, but it was
happen.
like during this. It was like a drastic measure,
yeah.
but
I'm just saying it might be possible they could find another way to get around that kind of shit.
I don't know.
We're talking about America.
I'm not a political.
Trump just proves that we need like government reform as soon as possible. Trump is a creation of our broken political system, and I feel like. He is the biggest danger so far, but I believe that there may be even a bigger danger than him.
Lurking behind him? Yeah,
right.
Possible.
I just think
it's
that
the
we
lizard
need to hold
people.
the people in power accountable as well. I know
QAnon lizard people.
Yes.
QAnon.
So Brandy was saying something informative, so just shut up for a minute.
Manager, there it is.
Show.
Joe dropped the. I was about to
say,
I was gonna support you and everything. Like what the fuck?
Our show is our show.
Go ahead, Brandy.
But
I mean, obviously,
right.
Trump is a creation of our broken political system, and as much as we despise him, we also have to look at our government and hold them accountable and the leaders that because yes. The current state in which America finds itself is I feel unacceptable. Mm-hmm. But what have the other past presidents have done? They've just continued to, they've just continued to exploit their own people as well.
And I 100% agree with that. And the only caveat that I would have towards Obama is that when you look at a map of the presidents, you can see they look pretty damn near all the same until you get this one little blimp, little black dot at the end, where you have a great represent. So, because there are a lot of people who say Obama did a lot of bad things. He bombed a lot of people. He did drone strikes and all that stuff. The sad turnaround is that he was and still is a symbol for like a crazy amount of opportunities that will never happen if it continued the status quo. So he did kind of continue most of the same president, like Clinton too, all the same things, but unfortunately, that's one.
I've said that the best thing that Obama has done is be black, because he gave a lot of us hope, and he, finally gave us representation, and allowed us to be able to identify with someone in the highest position of power in our government. And so I've always said the greatest thing he's done is be black, and I think that that's absolutely amazing. I just can't believe it took this long to have a black president.
The craziest thing about it, I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but the craziest thing about it is that, and you can look this up, I'm pretty sure I'm off by like a year or two, but I looked up with a conversation I had about segregation, and it turns out the last segregated prom, high school prom, was like 2012. 2012, yeah. During Obama's presidency, we still had several years of segregated proms. And it's crazy. Yeah. That just shows you how much real change can happen in America.
Some can argue that even Trump becoming president
doesn't really affect shit.
No, but also adds to the anyone can do anything, because if Trump is...
It's my Kanye 2021.
Fucking con man, racist piece of shit can become president, then anyone can become
pretty
president.
much.
That's why, yeah, you're right. Kanye. That's why Kanye probably feels he can become president, because
Brandy 2024,
hey, first
or London, London Fierce
First Lady.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
And
crazy,
Melissa's vice president, right?
Well, yeah, that just goes back to my point that we need more representation in our government. I feel like a lot of people sell out. A lot of people that we can relate to end up selling out. It's just so sad how broken our political system is and how corrupt it is, because all these people just end up selling out at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think
it's really hard to find someone that's good.
We do have minorities in certain political establishments, but I don't know. I feel like I agree with the whole corruptedness. Even if you had a majority of minorities in the political office, I kind of personally feel that it wouldn't change as significantly as you would hope it would. I think people would still be corrupt. People would still be doing the shady shit. That's just the way the game is played in the United States for our government. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't know what crazy shit should happen, but I don't know. I just feel like even if you put, sad to say, somebody who was, I don't know, female, gay, whatever, as presidency,
it would sell out.
It wouldn't. Yeah, you would still see corrupted shit.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it's sad because if you just go down the line, they've all sold out. You know, even as liberal as you think that they are, as good as you think that they are, trust me.
Yeah,
they're doing something sketchy.
QAnon.
The real power is money,
Wayfair,
and lizard people.
Lizard people.
I mean,
sex trafficking.
You know what? Like, let's talk about Bernie. You know, I think
Don't
like
talk
so
about
many.
my grandpa.
You know what? So many young people donated to his campaign.
I think we talked about that last week.
They truly believed in him. We believe. Yeah. And he just gave up. And I want to know why he gave up.
But to be fair, he was also contributing a lot of his campaign funds to people affected by COVID.
Right. So why at this crucial time would he back up? And when there were so many people standing behind him?
It's already exhausting to campaign as president, but his priority has always been with the people. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think Bernie is perfect.
Yeah.
But, like, you can't just believe that the next president is going to be like, oh, everything that we want. Yeah, he had faults, but compared to Trump and compared to Biden,
he was
a much better candidate. So why did he give up?
Like I said, he was trying to not focus on the campaign anymore. He wanted to help the people who were being affected.
I feel like this is more of a reason for him to focus on the campaign to make sure that the right candidate was elected president. I mean, I flew to America to vote in the primaries
take it off
in February. I donated to his campaign, and he just gave up. He didn't even talk to me about it before he decided to do that.
Well, let's get Bernie on the phone right now. Bernie?
I want to talk.
Well, what about like Elizabeth Warren or
let's not talk about her.
Oh, no, okay.
Woo. Yeah, talk about her. Tell me, what are your feelings about
didn't she say she was Native American, and that was...
and then she applied for college.
She applied for college.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well,
I just feel like she talks a good talk. She's just another one.
No, she was. I do feel like she's a traitor.
Well, I wanted to put it out there with the conversation I have about a lot of the females that I talk to about wanting just a female, like regardless of whatever stuff, we need to have a female in the political office. But I was wondering if that causes certain concerns. Same thing with just demanding to have, Obama, I just want a president, that's it. He can do whatever he wants as long as we have him in there. Like, should we have somebody in there that just represents the coach that we want, or do we really
I want a candidate that's fit to be president.
Okay.
I don't care what color you are, what gender you are. I just want someone honest and really for the people. And I just don't think that – I certainly have not seen that in my generation.
You'll find those in the movies.
Exactly. And you know what? Again, going back to Elizabeth Warren, why did she choose to stand behind Biden?
Oh, Biden drop out
too? Yeah. It's just like we have a candidate here. Why didn't no one vouch for Bernie? You know, Kamala Harris, again, Biden.
Yeah, because he was too against the establishment.
Exactly.
He was not safe.
So the Democratic Party does not have clean hands, and which is why, in a sense, I feel like we do need a third party because the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are both the same.
Don't we have a third party? Isn't
the
party or something?
But they don't take it serious. They don't get. They're not given the chance that the other parties are given to be able to have a platform to speak against the social issues and really push their presidency. They're not even eligible to be on stage.
Like, people scream, "Oh, socialism," and like it's just.
Here's the thing.
What is socialism?
When did anti-fascism become bad?
Right, like Antifa is a terrorist group.
Why is anti-fascism bad? Like no. Like I'm really trying to understand why the idea of being anti-fascism, why that is a bad thing.
Because it just reveals how racist and bad this government is.
Can I ask something? Because I'm in.
No, you cannot. That is exactly the reason why. I'm
part of this show too.
No, I just.
You're making up for last week because you didn't really talk last week. So I get it.
I just want to ask, because this is going to sound like, oh my God, Keenan, but is this legit? I don't care who says whatever about me, but okay, what is fascism and what is anti-fascism?
Okay, well, fascism is basically what Putin is. He's a president of his nation, but he's really the dictator.
Okay,
like he just and
that's bad, right?
I mean, technically, having somebody to rule over you for fucking their lifetime,
right,
without you having an opinion of who's going to run the country or how it's run.
So being anti-fascist is good.
I think the idea of being anti-fascist is pretty. Hitler was a fascist.
Okay,
he dominated his country.
Gotcha.
So why would that be bad? Like, why would being anti that bad?
And that's what people are saying about people against Trump, right?
Yeah, like, so you guys are acknowledging that Trump is trying to be a fascist, that he's trying to become the overall ruler, the supreme ruler.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys are mad at that?
And you know, they use this bullshit narrative that it's like Antifa is violent and this and that. But I feel like, you have to be violent because this country was built on violence and it continues to be.
Our government is violent against
Exactly. So, people. Like, they expect you to get slapped in the face for hundreds of years, and when you respond in a way of looting or protesting and this and that, it's like they clutch their pearls. Like, it's bullshit. It gets me so angry.
Like the U.S. was anti-fascist when we fought Hitler,
and the British.
So why is that bad?
And it just trips me out how people are like supposed to be patriotic and they fight for the Confederate flag, but yet you betrayed your country. And now you're just like,
and you lost. So
exactly.
Just remember you lost the war.
It's just a whole excuse to be racist.
Yeah.
It is.
And fascist.
JFK said it. Couldn't have said it better himself.
Look at her.
No, because I actually retweeted this because I loved it. It said, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make a violent revolution inevitable." And it's true. If you're going to be suppressing your people and not listening to them, even when they're peacefully protesting, then you're going to be met with violence. And I get it. People are angry. People are upset. We have not been looked out for, and you know what? It's taking the new generation to really kind of stand up for ourselves because this has been going on for far too long, and I know that a lot of us feel the same way. We're not going to accept it anymore, and change will come.
What is the breaking point for us? I mean,
I think this is the breaking point.
Oh my
Joe,
God,
that's inappropriate.
I'm just curious, like what? Because Joe and I talk about this on a lot of podcasts. What is really going to be the point where you see me out in the street with the fucking M4 with the little, beret hat and all that shit?
Recently, didn't they do a protest where they were armed? The Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Black Lives Matter. There were like, they even said like, we ain't Black Lives Matter. There were
the picture of the
like
dudes with the M4s on their backs.
Yeah. And they were. And see, that's the thing that pisses me off so much is when people are protesting against quarantining on Capitol Hill with guns. Like they didn't go send the freaking troops and the SWAT teams to go, you know, and then there's people right now in Portland that are protesting without arms, getting thrown into unmarked vans and God knows what else, you know. So it's all about when the Black Panther was armed, they wanted to NRA step up in this. But when black people are killed, when black people are holding arms, where is the NRA? Nowhere. It's just like a racist organization.
Crazy.
So like where the fuck do you...
America's a fucking double standard.
It really is.
We think that we are the greatest country. We're really not. There are much greater countries. Trust me.
CIA, America is number one in COVID cases, if anything.
QAnon. Lizard people.
Oh my God.
Pizzagate. Satanic rituals.
So how okay.
Satan.
Since Joe's getting a good segue, what is your two thoughts on this whole Mayfair child slave sex?
I don't know enough about it.
You keep saying Mayfair, but it's Wayfair.
Well, I'm just trying to not incorporate the company because the company be like, hey, we're a company. We just sell shit.
That's true, I guess. I don't know. I don't know enough on that topic, but people have said it's a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I mean,
because there's a lot of expensive shit out there.
I wouldn't doubt it, though. I wouldn't be surprised.
I can see how Wayfair is a conspiracy theory, but for sure sex trafficking is not.
Yeah.
Definitely
like,
not.
This shit is actually happening. I have a friend of mine who I've been...
Weinstein.
Not going Weinstein. Back and forth
Epstein,
and Weinstein.
All the
I guess all
no, don't say that either. This is not an anti-Semitic podcast.
Bernstein.
We support most Steins on this podcast, except the two major ones.
Wait, what?
That's another topic.
I don't know. That's the only the Steins I know.
Free Palestine.
The Bernstein Bears? What about
that? We support the Bernstein Bears.
Bernsteins, yeah.
Unless they, I don't know. Did they do
I was going to say,
I think they were recently caught up in racism as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The Berenstein?
Yeah.
The Berenstein.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck?
I think because...
I mean, Goldilocks
they were
fucking
created
racist as Trick.
I think they were portrayed as, like...
the Berenstein Bears?
Yeah.
Rednecks?
No, like they were like
black, old black, black slaves, and with the dress wear and stuff like that.
I always thought the Berenstein Bears were rednecks. Shit. Or were they the Bernsteins?
I don't know.
Mandela effect.
Oh my God.
They're part of it though. They're part of the Mandela effect. Yeah.
They are.
Right? The Bernsteins or the Berensteins. That's like the argument. Because some people remember them as one, and then the others remember them as another.
Well, bear makes sense because weren't they bears?
Yeah,
they were.
No, they were fucking rednecks.
Oh,
no, but
sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking. That shit is real, and it's crazy how easily you can find it if you're really looking. Like you can.
Oh, do explain, Joe.
Fuck. You can find that shit pretty easy.
That's an explain today.
I can show you some shit like even on IG, it's easy as fuck to find it, and it's fucking scary, dude.
Oh,
that shit is fucking scary. Like I've been going down that rabbit hole, and that shit is fucking scary.
Like an investigative thing, like
pedophilia and sex trafficking of children. Like that shit is fucking.
And I'm
real.
wondering why we're barely starting to talk about it, and I feel like a lot of people are not comfortable talking about that subject, which is so important for us to.
And where are the children from ICE? Where are they? Probably were sex trafficked.
You know the ones in the prisons, in the cells?
You know what's funny is that like they're saying that Wayfair is the one who provides like beds and stuff for those
the
those
people
centers.
in the cells.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So the link.
So it's like
they got some designer
the
furniture.
conspiracy is that Wayfair is getting these children potentially and trafficking them and selling them, and that's part of it. Like there's.
The linkage is kind of hard because nobody's saying I was there, I did it.
Well, if you can imagine it, it can be possible. So I'm not
the American way.
That.
Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah,
they live.
Oh my God! You're talking about lizard people?
They're alive. No, they live.
TV
they
show?
Live. No, the movie. They live. John Carpenter.
No.
Oh yes.
They live.
Where it says obey on the signs.
Yeah, that's where obey came from.
It's where the famous saying. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Yeah, I remember that.
So, basically, this movie is about... And John Carpenter was ahead of his time with this one because this shit came out in, like, the late 80s. Mm-hmm. And basically, the movie is... that our society is run like all this upper class society that we have in our society. I'm saying society a lot, but are actually like alien beings who control us by subliminal messages saying buy this, buy that, do this, do that, and they're hiding amongst us with like radio signals and shit.
It was the 80s, ladies and gentlemen.
But if you watch that movie now, if you watch that movie now, it's amazing how close, or I don't want to say it's close because I don't know if aliens really are controlling us and all this shit.
Well, he used aliens, but I mean, it was 80s, so advertisement and big companies. It was all about money.
If you look at it without the aliens, it's a fucking social commentary, even on what's happening.
I think that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to use aliens as an easy segue so nobody would take it.
And people were talking shit about John Carpenter back then when he released that. They're like, "Oh, you're fucking crazy. Yeah. This shit is trash. Fucking B movie. Get this shit out of here."
Maybe he came from the future to warn us.
And you really watch it now, and you're like, "Fuck, that shit is pretty fucking."
Well, the 80s were definitely heavily in that sort of corruption, government. Corporation taking control and like advertisement, major, huge stuff. Like the 80s were heavy on that shit. So it's not far fetched for him to go, you know what? I see where this is going because they're doing some wild shit on Wall Street and all that stuff. I'm going to make a movie about it. And then lo and behold, the technology comes in and it's just, it's the same prediction as like 1984. Some of that stuff is coming to life with having to pay for everything and whatnot. You'll see a few of the stuff back from the 60s and the 50s of what they predict the future will be. And some of that stuff is kind of there in different ways.
But I recommend y'all watch They Live. If you haven't seen it.
It's not a horror movie even though it's John Carpenter.
Yeah, it's considered a horror movie, but
it's not really.
I mean, if it's definitely a social commentary. It's a horror social commentary.
A good one is Idiocracy. That's another one.
Idiocracy is also great.
That's
more
like recent.
Outlandish, but
you see some of the stuff is kind of happening with President Camacho or whatever. Something.
President Camacho,
and then the whole Starbucks thing and whatnot. I mean,
and butt fuckers
and Costco. Yes,
and butt fuckers.
I mean, and the whole Gatorade and electrolytes.
Can you imagine if fuck, what's his name?
Terry Crews?
No. Oh. The creator,
Judd Apatow? No,
it's not Judd Apatow. It's
what's his name?
Judge.
Mike Judge.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley, dude.
If the commentary on Starbucks being a basically brothel.
A brothel, yeah.
If he's making a comment on Starbucks being something
else. I mean, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm fucking QAnon.
It could be associated with certain businesses using beautiful females to be their fronts for like, to attract people to come in and buy stuff. It's very
the
small.
Oldest trick in the game.
Exactly.
Honey,
so it could be expanded.
It's the oldest profession.
Yeah.
Yeah,
seriously,
man.
Now with this whole Trans Lives Matter, I'm telling everyone, hey y'all, book me. I'm gonna jump on this bandwagon and be like, hey, I'm trans.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Honey, use me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're being exploited. But I mean, if you're fine with it, then
if there's a way to use it to take that,
same way.
They need to get their coins too.
Yeah,
what are they gonna put like a heterosexual cis person?
It became cool to be gay. And then, like, Hollywood exploited the shit out of it.
You get that platform, and then you call them out.
It's absolutely necessary. I've been dealing with existentialism throughout this whole COVID shit.
What's wrong with you, Joe? Talk to us.
I don't know, man.
You have family here.
I've really been dealing with just like.
I'm kidding. This is probably really serious shit. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, no. It's not serious.
Okay.
But it's existential. Like, I've really been thinking about like what life is, and we've had multiple conversations about this. But like, really sitting down and saying, like, what is this reality that we're living in? Like,
it's not.
and then I've watched, like, it's so weird that there've been like a lot of shows and movies that I've watched in these last 4 months that have hit that mark that are like, fuck. Like, and I watch a lot of anime, and there's a shitload of anime that I've been watching that's just like, what the fuck? I just watched this one called Japan Sinks 2020. And it's basically a what if scenario and what would happen if that earthquake that Japan's been waiting for finally happens and Mount Fuji actually erupts and all this shit, and then you're watching it and I'm like, fuck. And all these scenarios feel so real, and it's like, what would I fucking do if literally the world was crumbling below me, like, or the world was ending. Like, I've been dealing with a lot of like world ending scenarios, and rightfully so, because we're living in a pandemic right now and people don't take it as seriously as they need to take it. And you really think about like what the fuck would really happen if life was ending. Like, how would people really react? How would I react? Like, what would my reaction to a lot of these events be? And it's just crazy thinking about like
your family,
your not just your family, but your existence, yourself. Because
you're
obviously, no. I think about my family. Like,
Yeah,
of course, I'm going to think about my kids, and but really thinking about like myself. Like, what? Say a scenario where I'm away from my family doing some shit, and a disaster hits, and my family dies. Like, and I go searching for them, and I find out that they die.
I searched for it with you, Joe.
And then, but what would I do then?
Oh shit! You killed me in this scenario.
But what would I do then? Like, what would I do? Like, how would I survive? What happens next?
Like the Denzel Washington movie where he was blind.
The Book of Eli.
Book of Eli, or some
I
Mad
don't even
Max
think
shit.
of the Book of Eli. I think more along the lines of like War of the Worlds.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's more akin to like, what are you gonna fucking do? Because Book of Eli is already a post-apocalyptic society.
It's after what happened.
So it's already like it already found its structure. I'm thinking about like as the disaster is happening and society is falling before our very eyes.
Well,
like,
something that you could see happening that isn't destructive to the planet, I think, on a very good percentage, decent percentage, you'll be okay. You all be okay. But if it's like a fucking,
I'm talking about like world-ending disaster, like
big
ass earthquake that just destroys society.
Society, yeah. But like if there's a big ass meteor, you can't. Everybody's dead. But if like an earthquake hits, you could possibly survive.
Okay.
At some point.
Okay.
But
a big ass earthquake happens, and then Everest explodes.
Mm-hmm.
It finally erupts, fucking damages everything. Satellites don't work anymore.
Everest doesn't have a volcano. It's the one in the Midwest.
I'm sorry, not Everest.
Yosemite.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. What's the one in Yosemite?
Not Yosemite. I don't know the name of the mountain. I should know the name of the mountain.
Yeah.
Because it exploded not too long ago, like in the 80s or early 90s. Oh shit!
Isn't it? No, it's not Everest.
What is? It's in the Midwest. It's the biggest volcano on the planet. It's like on.
It's the one in
the US.
by Yosemite.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Maybe it's called Yosemite. Ooh shit! My phone. Why turn my phone on silent? So.
No, but anyway, what if the inactive volcano that we have here in the United States erupts?
Yeah.
And then we have fucking earthquake, and then we have a fucking hurricane,
Monsoons,
and we have like all this shit that happens that crumbles our society.
Okay.
Absolutely fucking devastates it, and there's no more structure.
Okay.
What the fuck do you do?
Only the fittest would survive, and you'd have to rebuild. And
that's why I'm like faced with my
well,
existence.
Do you know how to make a fire?
No, I do.
Okay. Then
no, but I'm thinking like, but.
I mean, you'll lose. You will lose everything. But if you're talking about survival, if you're talking about your mindset, maybe you're just fucked. But your survival as a human,
I can survive.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
You be fucked up. But I mean, are you saying what are you gonna do mind wise? Because I mean, maybe that's just the engineer.
I going crazy?
No, it's just the engineer, dude. I'm
not going. You are.
I bring up questions like these to Joe and Philly all the fucking time without the podcast, because my mindset is that if there is a 0.5% chance that something like his scenario would happen, what is Cianan gonna do? And Cianan, the engineer, is like, I'm gonna take out whatever I can that could be valuable, either cash, money, or get jewelry or some shit like that. Smelt it, put it in little coins, and then I would have, my house where I would build a bunch of shit that I could survive off of. Maybe a bicycle generator, get electricity going, or reroute the pipe so I have running water, or live by the lake or something like that.
This is under the assumption that gold will be valuable.
I know.
People think that the gold standard is gonna no matter what, if the economy crumbles and all this bullshit, that gold is gonna reign supreme. No,
we're gonna go
whatever's shiny.
Who gives a fuck about gold? I'm gonna give a fuck about what resources you
go
can
back
provide.
to bartering, toilet paper,
bartering.
food.
Fuck gold. Gold is
Fallout.
shit. But can you fucking sew some shit? Can you make a shirt for me?
That's what you got to do.
Grow your own
doesn't mean
food.
shit.
You are solving your problem right now.
Yeah, clothing would be the last of your worries. We'd be living in a post-apocalyptic scenario where all you would want, you'd probably be eating from the trash, trying to.
Y'all gotta watch
Neon
Genesis. Y'all gotta watch Neon Genesis.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I gotta watch Neon Genesis.
My boyfriend's a doctor, so I'm not tripping.
And my man is really good hands-on, so I'm not even tripping.
No,
I just hope I'm with him.
This is exactly why during the pandemic, you do have to dig in within yourself and say, well, what can I provide? Not that'll make you, that'll put a value on you, but for yourself, what can I provide for myself? What can I do to survive? Whether you're even a carpenter, to build things for yourself, build another house from scrap,
barter with others.
Exactly, food, and that's the thing that is also kind of what I need to learn more about, is that there's a lot of regulations that the government puts upon us about growing food or storing water. There are some restrictions on that, and it's why the fuck why should there be a cap on how much water we can store, on how much food we can grow? And, so those are things that we do have to learn, too, to prepare ourselves for that moment.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, isn't it illegal to collect rainwater?
Yeah, I've been researching that, because when I moved to Bakersfield, we do our own compost now, and we have a little garden where we're growing essential food. But I was also researching, there is a certain amount of water that there's a cap on the water that you can collect, only certain amount of barrels.
And how do they monitor that? Will people come to your house and go, hey, you got too much
someone
water?
could probably report you. There could be a Karen who looks over your fence and says that you have more than I do, and calls, someone on you.
Yeah.
You have too much water.
Right?
I count 7 barrels. You're only supposed to have 5.
Exactly.
I'm calling
just because you have
kids. I'm gonna tell them you're attacking me.
Yeah. I can't believe this is being allowed. This Karens and cat I know they existed before social media and smartphones and stuff like that, but to this extent, maybe we're just seeing it more because we have camera phones.
It amazes me that they're still doing what they're doing, considering
mind-boggling
that we're gonna come after them.
Even that, but how do you think?
And you know what pisses me off? I have a life, please. I'm sorry.
Don't come
and
out.
It's then what the fuck were you thinking?
This is not me. This is not who I am.
Seriously?
Yes, it is.
I hate that too. That effort you put in to get on somebody else, but the moment somebody comes after you, you're playing innocent kitten, and it's are you fucking kidding me?
Real quick. I replaced the battery on my fire alarm, so if you haven't been hearing the beeping, you're welcome. Okay,
I did hear that on the last episode.
I didn't hear it at all.
I did.
Maybe
I think just because we're used to it.
I guess so. I didn't hear it all, but I'm what?
There's something else I wanted to mention. Okay, yeah. So on the topic of you're thinking about the existential.
I'm not thinking about survival.
Okay. So I got that wrong. Okay.
But think about it. If it weren't for the pandemic and we weren't secluded with ourselves, we wouldn't be putting thought into this. So it's also another topic of why people want to open this and that and sports, because it takes your mind off of you really digging within yourself and looking at the problems in our society, looking at the problems within yourself. So it just trips me out that it took a pandemic for us to really look into.
But I'm not talking about survival. That's what I'm.
Yeah, and I'm not either. I'm just saying in general.
I'm only.
Fuck you.
What's wrong with you as a person? What's wrong with?
No, I'm not talking about what's wrong with me.
Yeah,
I'm talking about my existence.
well, I can talk about what's wrong with you.
Hey,
I can talk about what's wrong with me all day.
Shit.
Let's get it.
So do any of you think about your existential self, your existence as a human being on this planet?
I do a lot, and I try to think how can I contribute to the world and people around me, and
it's not
yeah,
the same.
because
it's
you
more...
have this ego that's just within your.
Well, just it
doesn't go beyond you.
No. I'm not talking about self-improvement and what I could do to better. I'm talking about just the existence
of humans.
Yeah, I got you. I'm
and
there.
if you think about the existence of humans and you don't think what you can do to be a better human, then what does that say about you?
But that's completely separate from what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So what's
I'm
your
not
point?
thinking about.
We're just getting to the base model of it.
Yeah.
Any additives is a necessity to pitch in because you have to go after the human part. But the baseline of just your human existence, like, can you picture a world like without humans? You know, are you comfortable with that?
I would love a world without humans.
Oh shit!
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
But then you wouldn't exist.
I know.
yeah, like you're
I'm
here.
not human.
Yeah, you're here. I mean, I'm kind of curious if other
Like
animals
Walter
think that.
Mercado,
I'm
this
thinking
is
about
just
the
a
very
vessel.
end.
This is I am more than my body.
Okay.
Have you
My
watched this documentary?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Shit.
And it just
Check it.
reminds
Joe.
You
me
watch
of my
it? Made me
childhood
appreciate
and
it.
Primer Impacto.
Well, you know what, and it also, I think that he was really important to Hispanic culture just because of who he was, and
We're talking about Walter
there-
Mercado now.
Okay,
We're
you
not
know
talking
what?
about existence.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't. I'll nod and smile.
and again, having showing someone that people can relate to, and him being gay at a time where it wasn't accepted, which he was,
Or gender non-binary.
gender non-binary, or however he represented himself, I just felt like was important because he was being him at a time where not.
So
a lot
he
of
was
people-
non-binary?
We didn't
Okay.
have enough of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if
Does
you
he
look
talk
through
about
his
that at all?
interview, he says like, no, I have sex with the earth and like the wind, but like he never identified as like a male or female, and you can even see that in the way that he dresses.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And to be fair, and to be quite honest, I didn't always understand non-binary, but I've came a long way since then. I feel like just goes to show where the division within the LGBT community exists. Where Melissa was saying earlier, where gays, not all gays support trans, and vice versa.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
non-binary to me was very confusing, and for a while I was taking it personal because I thought here's this new a group of people that are identifying as non-binary, and I felt like they were kind of creating confusion, and it was just me being selfish and not really being open-minded. And
Okay.
I've come to learn that even me myself, I didn't always understand where I fell in the spectrum. So for someone that has the option of identifying as non-binary, it's extremely important because not all of us can be women or feel like we want to go through with that transition, and not everyone can be men. I mean, society, they have so many expectations of us in whatever gender you identify as that. Where do people that aren't one or the other fit in?
Okay.
And I can see how. And I understand and I appreciate how non-binary, how people can identify with non-binary. And I feel like it's extremely important for us to be able to understand that they don't want to be men and they don't want to be women for whatever reason that they have. They just want to be fluid and they just want to be themselves.
How does one write like a story? If I'm writing a story about somebody who's non-binary, and you need the English words of like him, her,
them, there.
Is it just them, there,
Them,
they?
there,
Oh, okay.
they.
Okay.
Them, they, well, they would, yeah, but why would you write a story of something that you're not? That's taking away the dialogue from people who are actually experiencing, and that is the issue.
That's for
with-
every literature. There's people
No,
who are women
but
who
see-
write books about men. Men write books about
From their
women.
perspective.
From a
Yeah,
perspective.
that's what
But
I'm
if
saying.
you don't have like knowledge about it, then why are you going to write about it? Read from the people who experience those things.
It's an example.
It can't. It
It's
doesn't
not gonna
work
go
like
like
that.
It does actually.
Not everybody like. Everybody
Listen.
will write.
Write about what you know and
No,
read about what
I
you
can't-
don't.
It
I
can't
can't
work
agree
like
with
that.
because if you have characters, if you're writing a story and you have characters that are different, should you not include those characters?
And if
so
I
that
want-
so that the
Yes,
actual,
you do include them,
But that's what I'm
but
saying. If I
Okay.
wanted a character who was non-binary, I can't just go, well, I'll let somebody write the whole book. Like, I'm going to write the
You'd
story.
have to educate yourself on
Of
non-binary.
course. That's,
Exactly,
what,
that's
and
why
that's,
I'm
that's
saying.
where the question
Yeah,
came
that's
from.
key.
How do I say it?
you know what? I don't like the way you're
you-
coming at
Look at
me.
this
so-
social justice warrior over here. Just immediately, she was immediately like against you on it.
Like, I was defending. Like, that's my whole life.
Like, how is that
okay,
defending,
but see,
though?
no,
okay. Why can't you write about a character?
I literally just asked the question to
let
define.
Me just retract. Let me go take a few steps back.
There you go.
Okay.
Because I feel attacked right now.
But
I
also said read about what you don't know, which is good, like researching. Okay, yeah, you're researching, asking that question, I guess. So I apologize.
You don't have to
and
apologize.
I will say, yeah, I was in the wrong.
Just be a man about it. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
He didn't mean that, right?
At all.
He didn't. Yeah,
no.
he didn't.
I mean, we even had our topic or subject that we should start calling people, pussies now instead of dicks?
Yeah.
Because you need to,
and it should be
they're
a good
more powerful.
Thing. Well, I mean, why does
we're
it
making
have
it a
to
good
be
thing? Exactly.
A negative thing? Just like when you call people fags and oh, that's some gay shit. When you use those terms negatively, it really has a negative impact on our community because it singles us out and it makes us like something negative, and I just don't really feel comfortable with that just because of my relationship to it growing up. And so, yeah, I'm glad that the world is changing, and I'm glad that we're now being more sensitive to a lot of these things, And it takes us to have these important conversations to be able to know
that's what it's
where
all
we
about.
stand. And Joe, I forgive you for.
I've scrubbed that from my vocabulary.
Thank you. And going back to, I didn't quite get to finish my story. I thought this podcast was about myself. No, I'm kidding. No.
It is.
I'm like, wait a minute.
We have the soapbox for that.
No.
Yeah.
But go ahead. My
ahead.
story does have a happy ending as far as my coming out to my family. Okay. Like I was saying earlier about me coming out as transgender and how difficult it was for me and how unsure I was of the future. When I came out to my family on that very day, I will say, and I give a lot of credit, and that's what kind of gave me faith that I could possibly, have my family as a part of my life, was the fact that after I came out, I never once was misgendered. I never once was called out of my name by my brothers, by my mother, by my sister, by anyone that knew me. They really kind of I think that it really resonated with them, and they understood how important it was for me to be supported at that time. And so I'm really proud of my family for that very reason, and which is why from then on I just never held a grudge against them, because I knew that they understood, and I knew that they came around. And you know what? I feel like many times my mother is one of my biggest supporters. She stands behind me 110%, and we have a very close bond. I speak to her regularly. And I'm glad that I'm her child, because I was able to give her a different perspective as well and change her mind and her opinions. Because like Joe said earlier, we grew up very, very religious and grew up Jehovah's Witness, and a lot of those things did not go down well. And just who I was, period, was never okay. So for me, I always had to push back. So I've been used to pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I feel like a part of me, I wouldn't want to change anything, because I may not be where I am if I hadn't gone through some of those things. It's built character. It's made me extremely strong and confident, and it's allowed me to love myself, something that I never really did. And now I love myself. I love who I am. And, I know that I have a bright future ahead of me, something that I never thought that it was possible in the past, and I know that my point of view is extremely valuable, and I know people appreciate it, and a lot of people look up to me for whatever reason. And I love that I'm able to identify with others, not just the trans community, but women, men, and people from all walks of life. And that's what I wanted, was to create some sort of impact, open up people's minds, change people's opinion and perspective on the trans community, because I think society from the beginning has done a lot of damage to my transgender community by depicting us as men in wigs and undesirable and not attractive. And none of that is true. And at the end of the day, that's not the most important thing. Physical looks is not the most important thing. And like I said, I don't want my community sexualized anymore. I want us to be appreciated and acknowledged for our talent and our contributions to the world in general, because we're saving lives. We're really we're giving people opportunities. We're educating others. We're inspiring. And I think that there is so much we can contribute if the world would just calm the fuck down and open up their minds and open up their hearts and appreciate us, because like I said, we're a beautiful, colorful community, just like every other community that exists. And we've been around for a long time, and y'all need to get it together and start getting with the program because we're not going anywhere. I sure as hell am not going anywhere, honey.
That's right.
And I just got my voice, and I'm just getting started.
Crossing borders.
And I don't even have a platform right now, so you better believe that
this
when
is
I
kind
do.
of a platform.
Well, yeah, this is my platform. Okay, this is my first podcast, and. I just want.
This show isn't over yet, right? We still got about 30 minutes. She's over here wrapping it up, like, and I'm here.
No.
It's cool. Crossing Borders, new season.
And that's right.
Coming at you, Discovery Channel.
And when I meet new people, I don't mind the questions. I'm all for it. I want to educate. If you want to learn, then I'm willing to educate you. If you're going to be malicious or rude, then I got no time for you, baby.
What's the Sorry, KR, but I don't have a question. It's a question of the question, but
ask me anything.
I'm
an open book.
What is the wildest question you got that was legitimately curiosity? It wasn't hateful. It wasn't like trying to be funny, but it was just so oddball that they asked it because they just didn't know.
I probably so they asked me if I got like if I like had surgery to
remove your penis.
No, to add a penis.
To add a
penis.
Like two.
Yes.
What?
Like, I'm transgender. What does it mean? Oh, well, I was like born male. I was born male at birth. And they just so does that mean that you got a dick? That you got the operation to get a dick? I'm like,
okay.
No, it's like the opposite.
Is that physically possible?
Or
yes, medically possible?
Well, I mean, there are trans men. Trans men.
Well, I mean, like if you never had one and then you.
Well, trans men.
Oh.
There's a surgery now. That they can.
I just think it's crazy how far we got in like medical science, where you can have a functioning without even having a penis, have a functioning penis and scrotums or testicles.
Yeah,
that fully function.
The science is ahead of the game, and they are changing lives, and I can't even. Get started. But that goes to and I feel like it's important that now at this very moment we start talking about things that we are that we're uncomfortable about, and things that we normally wouldn't talk about, because there are a lot of marginalized people that are not getting the respect that they deserve. Again, like I know the trans men as well, women that transition into men.
Okay. Yeah.
And I feel like they're underrepresented, and we're all, I think it's great that we're all talking about trans women, but we need to talk about our trans brothers as well. And I feel like they need more representation. We need to talk about them and respect them as men, the men that they are, and make sure that we have these conversations with our families, with our friends, and even when it makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, I want people vouching for me. I want people standing up for me, even if and this whole idea that if you stand up for a transgender woman, you're attracted to her. Well, first of all, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Second of all, what's wrong with that? Like, people need to really like get 100 with themselves and look within themselves and grow some balls and just appreciate people for people. Stop trying to sexualize everything. We don't want you. Like, I'm tired of people thinking that the LGBT community, gay guys, trans women are so thirsty that they're looking to hook up with anyone that they see. Just
so
because you're a guy does not mean
kidding.
And these are issues that are real. And
Keenan's basically just desperate and he doesn't give a fuck.
We joke a lot on the show.
Excuse me? I just spoke about
No. I'm saying Keenan will take anything that comes his way.
On the forehead, please, not in the mouth.
I was going to say man, woman, and child, but then
no children.
No children.
That's why now, like, I'm also a hostess, and I'm an MC, and I speak on the mic at nightclubs and events, and I always and I don't really necessarily use ladies and gentlemen anymore. I say them, their, and I represent for my community all the time.
Well, that's kind of old
That's
school.
Why I say welcome one,
yeah.
welcome all.
Right.
Oh.
Of course, yes.
Welcome one,
and everything in
all.
between as well.
Okay.
And I just feel like it's important that we start changing some of these things that have been set in place by society. I'm not about tradition anymore. Traditions are made to be broken. We're moving in a different direction, and I'm not going to no longer be a slave to societal norms and what people think about me, because I've held back long enough.
Yeah.
And like I said, coming now, I feel much more confident being transgender. Before I didn't want people to know. Before I didn't really feel comfortable talking about it. And now I'm just like, no, you know what? I need to represent for my community, and I need to, stop being self-conscious and love myself. And I've come a long way. Once I started thinking that way, I'm just like, you know what? I didn't come out of one closet to go into another. I'd rather be surrounded.
Good.
I'd rather be surrounded around people that love me and appreciate me and admire me, rather than people that are gonna throw me away the moment they find out who I really am. And it took time for me to feel that way. Before I felt like. I felt that my value was based on what others thought about me, and now my value is based on who I am, and what I can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm just a person. I have mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'll never be perfect, and that's what makes me perfect. So I guess I am perfect. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because, okay, we brought you on the episode because you're my sister, and obviously.
I am?
No, well, yes, you are trans, but we didn't want to focus on that.
Absolutely.
The fact that you're the one who started and you brought it up and you're comfortable enough to speak on it, then we were just going to let the conversation go wherever it was.
Because you saw how much shit we talked about that was non-related whatsoever.
Of course. No, but I feel like it's my duty as a trans woman, and I feel like it's all of our jobs to be to have our own form of activism that we stand by.
And this is absolutely the platform to do it. Like, again, this podcast it has no boundaries, really. Like, we talk about anything and everything, even shit that we have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. We'll still talk about it
100%.
So the fact that you were very comfortable with speaking about that is greatly appreciated, because we didn't know what the conversation was going to be. If it went there, we were gonna tread lightly, because we weren't sure,
right. And I appreciate that, because I haven't always felt comfortable, but now I'm just like, I need to do some damage control, and I need to educate others. And like I said, I'm more than willing to educate for people that are genuinely interested in finding out about the transgender community. But what I don't like is those people that laugh and are not genuinely interested and just want to be ignorant. That's when I'm just like, you know what? You're not even going to upset me. I'm just going to walk away, because there's no. I've been doing this for far too long. And you know what? It's just wasted time. And baby, good luck, because I know at the end of the day you're gonna be in my DMs hitting me up trying to get it cute, and it ain't happening.
Speaking of which, where do people find your advocacy, or where would people find you so they can communicate to you, talk to you back and forth? Is it Instagram, or is there other websites?
I just pretty much use Instagram.
Okay.
I use Instagram, which is LA_fierce, FIERCE. But
Melissa, were you gonna say anything at all throughout this whole podcast?
Oh my God!
Besides that, you're an asshole.
Hey! And to be fair, I have to give credit to Melissa, because she has sparked something in me that I never really took serious, which is my own form of advocacy. She is a trooper, and she fights for what's right, and I admire her and I love her very much, and she is an example for what an ally is to the trans community, and what every one of us should take it upon ourselves to do.
It should be. Yeah.
It's almost super. I wouldn't say super obvious, but when you tell the story of the whole Barbie thing, it was there since you were like a toddler. You were always there for the support of having your big brother play Barbie dolls with you, wherever it was hidden. But it's almost like your destiny was written.
And even then, she when I would hurt, she would hurt, and that's why we're so close, because she knew the pain that I would go through, and I saw how unfair it was. Quick?
Test what out? Excuse me? Do not touch her.
I thought you were in pain. I've already. You know what? You can't come at me like
testing
that.
if you could feel her pain.
And I asked.
Yeah.
Yo, dumbass.
I was watching what you're
Fuck
doing.
Melissa. She's already been on this. Fuck her.
It was the joke on your pain. Okay, that came out super wrong.
I got it.
Yeah.
And with that being said, gosh, this fucking flew.
Yeah, it did.
And with that being said,
2 hours?
Oh, yeah.
I
15
can.
more minutes.
We've come. we've come to the soapbox portion of our show. For those of you who are not familiar with the soapbox portion, we basically take our time. Each speaker, each visitor who's come, they take their time and they can speak on anything they want to speak on, whether it's promoting something, shouting someone out, venting on something that they have pent inside. Whatever it is, you can speak on it for as long as you need to, uninterrupted. Usually, we'll start. If we have a guest on, we'll have the guest start and speak their mind, and then we'll move on. So we have Brandy and Melissa. Melissa's already a previous guest, so Brandy is going to jump this off. Brandy, then Melissa, Cianan, and then I'll close it out.
Boom, boom.
Brandy, thank you for being on with us.
Thank
It
you.
is your soapbox.
Thank you. So basically, I just want just everyone to be more aware and more sensitive towards the transgender community. And if you don't know, well, try to find out. There are now tools and resources that you can use to educate yourself on the trans community, which I feel like as a human being, it's just something that we should all do. And that doesn't just go to the trans community. That goes to any marginalized group. Black Lives Matter, underrepresented people, and just I just want the world to be a better place, and I really want us to take this time in our lives serious and create change and not go back to our old ways and to have these important conversations with our friends and family on topics that don't always make us feel uncomfortable because we've swept this under the rug for long enough, and like I said earlier, there's so much we can contribute to the world, and we're too busy trying to fight for justice that we're not able to concentrate on what's important. And so we need everyone's help to get the ball rolling and really create change. And any city that you are, in any country that you are, anywhere around the world, there are things to be done. There are people suffering, and I feel like we all have the duty to be an activist in one way or another, and it's our job. It's not something that we choose; it's something that we must do. And quickly, I just want to give a few shout outs before it's my time. So I want to give a shout out to my mom. Melissa is obviously here, so but still, my husband Craig, my drag mother in the UK, Raven Mandela, my drag mother here in the US, Kiki Extravaganza, one of my best friends, Amanda Lauren, girl, I love you, and everyone else, my trans community, LGBT community, love you guys. Thank you for having me, and I'm out. Woo. And Selma Barr, yeah, of course, Selma Barr, love you, girl. Never last.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you. Melissa, the soapbox is yours.
So I just want to piggyback off of what.
God damn.
No, but yeah, I feel like this is as unfortunate as the pandemic is. I know it's, a lot of people, a livelihood is on, just being crushed right now with not being able to work in a lot of the industries, and it's very unfortunate. So, with the time that we do have to ourselves, I think it is important to think about our existential, as Joe was saying, and it may not be about survival, but I do believe that we need to give ourselves a break through all the chaos that is happening, and that's with also at the same time being allies to, as Brandy mentioned, a lot of the marginalized groups, that we shouldn't come out of this in the same mentality as what we went into the pandemic, because it is a lot of selfishness going on, even with people like not wanting to wear masks, thinking that it's the government trying to control us, or thinking that, looters are what defines Black Lives Matter, which is not. So just stop being ignorant and research. There's, you're at home, you have internet access, and research, follow activists, really think about why you're so against so many of these movements. And, I feel like politics is ingrained in a lot of the issues that we have, and that's whether people are not able to access food, education. Not everyone is able to do long distance learning, or even the children that are being abused at home that have to, suffer those things. So there's just so much tragedy in in our lives and going through this pandemic, that we could really make an impact on a lot of things if we just really search within ourselves and how we can be better people to others, how we can be allies to others, instead of just being so selfish and in our own our own beliefs. Okay, so that's my
nice. Snapping it, snapping it.
Look at
snap,
it.
snap, snap.
I taught you well.
And unfortunately,
Keenan Duncan.
I am gonna.
and I just want to send a shout out. No, I'm kidding.
I am gonna piggyback off of Melissa.
You fucking showed.
But yes, thanks Brandy for coming on the show, as well as London Fierce. I like the name.
Yes, thank you.
Crossing Borders will be coming at you season 1 on Fox. I know, of all places. But thank you for all the listeners for listening to the show. Thank you, Melissa, for coming out. Really appreciate you here and to get your voice on a lot of our thoughts. And definitely spread the word out of the podcast if you can. That'd be great. My soapbox, funny enough, I'm mentioning about the race and education, reading up on history and stuff like that. John Lewis passed away, and the saddest thing you're probably going to hear from my face or from my mouth is my friend John told me about it. He works at a news station, and he told me about it. And then I jokingly, but a little bit of me actually didn't know who he was. And he didn't get upset at me, but he was like, Keenan, how can you not know? He did all this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, just joking. For a brief moment, I was like, yeah, who is this guy? And I have to give a caveat to people understanding about Black culture and people who are Black, is that the education of our history isn't heavily passed down to us through our own family or through the educational system here in the United States. So me not knowing who John Lewis is, or even Frederick Douglass, even I know who Frederick Douglass is, and then Farrakhan, most of the heavy hitters are just Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, because it's been grilled into us heavily with the whole month of February. But there's a lot of George Washington Carver. Thank you, John. But I sent a response back saying, I'm pretty sure you couldn't name a lot of the members in the Black Panther Party, and he came back with like, yeah, I kind of agree. There are, information out there that we don't know about. But George Lewis was like in Congress and he did all these great things up until this day. But I was saying, like, if he did all of the great things throughout history, but wasn't relevant today, even though he's still alive, like a lot of other Black engineers, doctors, lawyers, activists back in those days who aren't doing stuff now, they're just, raising their family, you wouldn't know their names at all. So that's kind of my apology / defense speech that I have, is like, yes, there are a lot of prominent figures in the Black community who did a lot of great things for the Black culture. And we really should be educated on that. And I tried to in college, as the president of the National Society of Black Engineers at SF State, I tried to have a bulletin board that every week listed somebody prominent in the Black community that wasn't popular. Like the guy who created the Super Soaker is like a Black guy.
You didn't want the Neil deGrasse Tysons or the fucking...
Yeah, even though a lot of people don't know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is.
Which is ridiculous. I'm sorry.
But it's things like that. So this is kind of an apology, but also like, you don't need to be shocked, curious, or upset if there's someone who's Black who doesn't even know who who a lot of these people are. Even if it's as major as Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, it's just because there's more to it than just them. There's a reason for them not knowing, not because they don't care. So that's what I'm saying. My soapbox. Bye.
All right. Well,
thank you, John. Shout out.
Can I just quickly shout? I want not shout out anyone, but I want if people are interested in learning more about the trans community on television and getting an insight on how we were depicted on television, then watch Disclosure on Netflix. It's a Netflix special starring Laverne Cox, and it's so amazing, and it's very touching and moving, and it'll really give you an insight on the trans community. So please watch Disclosure on Netflix. Okay.
Well, thank you for interrupting my soapbox.
Oh my God, Joe!
I'm kidding.
Look at that evil side. Well, this is gonna kill you.
It is time for my soapbox. Everyone, pay attention to me. It is my turn. first and foremost, Brandy, thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Took the opportunity. We knew you were in town. Took the opportunity to get you on. Melissa, what can I say, you know? What can I say about my favorite sister?
Hey! That's okay. She's been the sister longer. You gotta make fun of yourself.
I love you. I love you. Yeah, but thanks, I guess, for, you know.
I appreciate you being on the show.
Dropping Brandy off. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Melissa knows I love the shit out of her. That's how we are, you know? It's how we are. I fucking love
Tough
this
love.
stupid ass. Listen. I talked about existentialism. It's weird because I've really been thinking just about what reality is, you know, and not where my place is in it, but what the meaning of it is. Like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I guess I've just been thinking about death a lot, like and what it's gonna be like when I die, like, and what my reality is gonna be when I die, and if there is a reality for me once I die, and what the people who I love and care for, what their reality is gonna be once I die. You know, I know I'm not the world to a lot of people, but I am the world to some. You know, like my children. Like, what is my existence gonna be once I'm gone? To them, you know, I don't know. It's weird. So that I've been reflecting a lot about what life will be without me and what life will be with me once I'm gone. For me once I'm gone, not with me. For me once I'm gone, because I believe that something will happen to me and to my consciousness once I pass. Like once I leave this existence, I believe that something will happen to me, like consciously. Like, I don't know what that is, but I feel like something will happen to me. Even though I'm atheist and I don't believe in God, I don't have to believe that something will happen to me. Like, as far as my existence is concerned, I'm not the atheist that says once I'm dead and I'm gonna be buried and my life is done from there. No, I'm the dude that's saying once I'm dead, something will happen to me. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I still don't believe in God. Satan forever. But yeah, I've gone through, and as I mentioned earlier, I've been dealing. I've been watching a lot of things, a lot of things. Shows and movies and things about that deal with existentialism, and I highly recommend people watch Japan Sinks 2020. It's actually a novel that came out in the early 70s, and it was a product of its time, but they released it as a series, as an anime series, and a lot of people will talk that anime is just cartoons and this and that. Trust me, I guarantee you watch this show, and it will completely alter your idea of what anime is. Actually, once we're done here, I'm gonna play that first episode for you guys.
Oh my god!
For sure, because you guys have to watch it. It's fucking crazy.
Do we have to?
Yes, you absolutely have to. If you want to eat pizza, you're gonna fucking watch this fucking show. But yeah. Watch Japan 2020 Sinks. Watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. Watch Devilman Crybaby. Watch anything that's going to make you question who the fuck you are. Because I think we won't discover who we are until we question who we are. God damn, look at me. I'm a fucking beast. I'll be coming up with some crazy shit. Anyway, we're here. We fucking killed it.
Yeah, we
Wait,
did.
how
Keenan,
can you believe in Satan and not in God?
I don't. That's
that
why I said
doesn't make sense.
That's why I said hell Satan.
How can you
'cause I don't
believe
give a
Satan
fuck.
exists but not
I
God?
don't believe Satan exists.
Maybe Satan is God.
But that, ooh, Keenan, you son of a mother. You son of a bitch. I'm in. Anyway, I want to thank everybody who's been on the show today. Brandy, thank you for coming out.
You're
Smelly
welcome.
Melly, thank you for coming out. I love you.
I love you.
Keenan, I fucking love you, you piece of shit. And everybody who tuned in, I fucking love you. You gotta join in. You gotta join in. Boom. Hey. We're so offbeat.
Eat your woman out.
Suck your man's dick.
Get fucked in the butt.
Brush your teeth after all sex.
Okay. Oh, hey! I thought this was going somewhere else, but I love it. Brush your teeth after oral sex. Get fucked in the butt. Eat your woman out. Suck your man's dick. And if you don't like any of those things, fuck you.